Sam Levitt here on the Padres Radio Network as we get ready for today's game. And right now I'm joined by Padres reliever David Morgan. Well, David, before we get into anything relating to you pitching in the major leagues, let's revisit your early days playing baseball. They had the Little League Classic in Williamsport yesterday. Pretty fun to see that game between the Mets and the Mariners. And always is a good time to sort of reminisce on the early days of playing ball. What are your earliest memories of playing as a kid in Little League?
Yeah, I mean, obviously T-ball, played in a rec league when I was probably about 4 years old. I remember I would always beg my parents, to start playing T-ball, but I was too little. I joined a rec league. I think I played for like the Mariners or something. T-ball, kind of, kids all over the place, no one really playing a position, and then kind of got into it and just fell in love with it right away.
What was the feeling like for you as you started, you said it, kind of falling in love with the game? What do you feel like as a kid you loved about the game?
I think just competing. I think when you're little and you're good at something, you kind of stick with it and run with it. But yeah, just competing at a young age. I had two older brothers, who always pushed me and kind of beat me around a little bit. So to kind of get to do that on a field and do it with my friends was kind of the reason why.
And you have such an interesting journey to this point in a baseball sense. We've talked about it before, being a position player in college, and then really transitioning into a full-time pitcher in professional baseball. I would assume back then in Little League, you were more of a position player type guy.
Yeah, in Little League I did both.
Yeah.
I think I pitched and played shortstop up until I was about 12. And then from 12 until I was 22, I didn't touch the mound. So, yeah.
Which is so unbelievable when you see what you're doing now. So let's bring it to present day. Obviously, you've had a terrific rookie season in this bullpen. As you kind of, we're a long way from the end of the year, but as you kind of look back on what you've done to this point, how would you sum up the experience in the bullpen so far?
It's been awesome. I mean, I've said this before, but the relationships that we have out there, the friendships I've built, that's been the biggest thing. I think it's pretty expected of us to compete and perform at a high level. So I expected that from myself. I hold myself to that standard. But the best part of it's been the friendships and relationships I've made out there.
Have you had time to reflect on the journey to this point? I mean, you're a guy who was signed as an undrafted free agent. You transition into a pitcher really in professional baseball, and now you're putting up great numbers at the major league level. Have you had time to kind of reflect on how cool this whole thing is?
Yeah, a little bit. I've thought about it a bit, but I try not to dive too deep into that. I kind of put that aside and just keep performing and keep doing it.
Obviously, the stuff is really good and it's played really well in the major leagues. But beyond the stuff, what do you feel like has been the key for you day to day?
I think just the work ethic and preparation each day, doing my homework, studying hitters off the field. I think it's expected of us to work hard every day physically, but the mental aspect of it and taking care of myself off the field to be ready every day.
As far as work ethic, preparation, taking care of yourself off the field, there are a lot of veterans on this pitching staff, both in the rotation and the bullpen. Is there anybody in particular that has influenced you since you got to the big leagues?
Yeah, I think all of them have their little bit that they have, but Joe Musgrove is a huge one. I watch him work in the weight room every day. He's not even playing this year, and he's one of the most prepared guys every single day. We've talked about that. To know that he's not going to pitch and to have the preparation that he still has is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting answer considering Joe is not playing right now as he rehabs from Tommy John surgery. Obviously, Joe, also like you, San Diego guy, grew up a Padres fan. I would imagine that's something you share.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, really cool. We're joined by David Morgan here on the Padres Radio Network as we get ready for today's game. To you, what stands out about this bullpen from a stuff standpoint? Obviously, a lot of high-octane guys. You're one of them down there. What stands out to you sort of as a collective from what you guys continue to do?
Something I've seen is the preparation throughout the game. Obviously the way our bullpen is set up, kind of stacked on top of each other with the road guys and then us. Seeing the way that our guys prepare throughout the game is a lot different than what I see from other bullpens. From inning 1 to inning 9, guys are moving around ready to go.
Yeah, it's a pretty unique situation right now because there is so much talent and you guys have so much optionality, versatility in that bullpen. I mean, you're looking at it, there's been situations where you got Jason Adam, one of the best relievers in the game, coming in the 5th inning. How do you prepare for an appearance that could come really early, but an appearance that could certainly come in the later innings as well?
Yeah, I've had those conversations with
Yeah.
our pitching coaches. Yeah, I have to be ready the whole time. You know, there's times that I'm up in the first inning moving around, and then I'm not pitching until the eighth, ninth, sometimes even extra innings. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I do my preparation pregame, kind of take that into the game, and then just kind of continue on throughout the day.
David, really good insight on your year so far, on your early days playing baseball as well. Appreciate the time. Keep up the terrific work, and we'll catch up with you again down the road. Thanks so much.
Right on. Thank you.